All right. I would like to talk a little bit about breaking in a new 1911. I would suggest not taking a brand new 1911 straight out of the box and just going to town on it. I would take it home, give it a little spray down, preferably with some Ballistol. Clean it up real nice, and then maybe rack the slide 20 or so times, maybe 30 times. Rack it back and forth and see, okay, rack it back and forth 20, 30 times, take it down and look where the wear spots are. There's going to be metal to metal contact. On this Ed Brown here, it's here on the top, both sides. On the side, right in this area, here, and on this side. There's some metal to metal contact. It's not dragging, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just some metal to metal contact. It's tight, it's real tight. There's a little bit of contact on the disconnector here. As you can see on the slide here, there is some, and that's normal. There's a little contact on the slide on this rail here. On the top, I can see where metal has been rubbing on both sides. There's also going to be a little bit on your barrel bushing. I can see some. Obviously, on your slide stop where you push it in. So, what I like to do is I like to use a little bit of, on the breaking in period, I like to use a little bit heavier oil, grease. This is Wilson Combat Ultima Lube grease. It's not real thick. It's almost like a motor oil, but not like molasses. You know, it's a good consistency. I put it on any spots that I see has metal to metal contact at first. Maybe some inside of your, little bit inside of your barrel bushing here where your barrel rubs. Maybe just a spritz right here on your slide stop. On your slide, you will, after you rack it that amount of times, you'll kind of see where it's rubbing. I'd put a little bit there, maybe a little bit where your disconnector's hitting, a little bit on the other side, because I can see some spots where metal contact is. On a stainless gun, it's a little harder to see, but on a black gun, you'll probably really be able to see. You know, same thing on the frame. You'll see some spots. I'd split a little bit on there, you know, inside the frame rail here, a little bit on the other side. If you want to go as far as taking the gun completely down and doing the sear, the disconnector, your hammer, if you want to, if you see some spots on there that are rubbing, then by all means, if you want to take it all the way down. I have this one. I just am not taking it all the way down for the video. Heck, even sometimes your trigger will rub a little bit. If you want to put a little bit on there when you take it completely down, I don't see a problem with that. You know, that's about all the wear spots on this particular firearm. Sometimes the ambi safety will rub here a little bit. I'm not too worried about that. But I think it's important because when you're breaking in a 1911, you are, you know, them spots that are contacting, they're eventually going to wear off, and it's going to be a smoother, you know, action. And while you're breaking in, I think it's important to have a thicker lube on there so it breaks in naturally. You know, I've actually seen some folks break a 1911 completely down when it's brand new. You know, take all the internals out of the frame, the barrel, such, all of them out of the all the internals out of the slide, and then put some flits on the rails, and then run their slide back and forth with all the internals out of both, and try to smooth that out a little bit before they even take it to the range. I don't do that. If that floats your boat, then by all means. You know, I don't. I would rather put a little bit thicker lube on there and break it in naturally. That's just me. If you take a brand new 1911 to the range and you have some hiccups, if it's brand new, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I have personally broke in several Les Bears, and I've had a few hiccups with them, you know, but it was nothing that I sweated up too much, because after I got them broke in this same way that I'm breaking in this Ed Brown, I never did have a single problem with them after that, you know. And this gun is still incredibly tight. It's still kind of a pain to get back together, to be honest with you. It's that tight. It's just, it's gonna happen to you. Just keep it oiled, keep breaking it in, and it should smooth out, you know. I don't see why it wouldn't. It'll smooth out and probably be one heck of a firearm for you. I know Les Bear says to shoot 500 through it before you even call them. I'm not for sure what Ed Brown's, what they say, but I'm sure there's a break-in period for it. I've had to break in a few Nighthawks, and I never did have any problems with them, but yes, they were a little slick. I did the exact same thing, use this. You know, after I shot several hundred rounds to them, I could see that it was not rubbing anymore. It had done the rubbing, and it was done with it, you know. So I quit using this, and I always use Ballistol to clean, lubricate, and it puts almost a real slick film on it. And it makes your gun run real smooth. I'm real happy with it. You can tell with that lube on it, it really stiffens up your slide there. But once you get to shooting, it'll warm up, and it runs real smooth. It does. Like I said, I wouldn't use that constantly. I just use it for break-in period. But I just figured I'd give you my thoughts on breaking in a 1911. I'm sure some people may disagree. This is just how I do it, and it has worked for me for several high-end 1911s, and even some cheaper 1911s. It's worked for me. But I appreciate you watching, and hope you enjoyed. Thank you.